I want to go over some chart patterns with you guys. Hope everybody's doing well. Okay, so let's talk about a pennant. This is a bullish pennant because you can see you've got this uptrend here. So it's similar to a bull flag. This is a bull pennant. Typically, these break out to the upside. A pennant is created when there's significant movement in the crypto, followed by a period of consolidation. So what's happening right here is your RSI is given time to cool off. So imagine your RSI at this point is up at 70 or 80 because of the big move upwards, and then it needs a cooling off period. And so that's what the pennants basically accomplish. After the cooling off period, you see typically a continuation of this trend and a break higher. A breakout typically occurs in the same direction as the big move. Cup and handle, these have been all over the place. I want to show you a variation of the cup and handles, which happens a lot of times. On a lot of occasions, you'll see the cup and handle drawn like this. And so where this is that bull flag we see a lot of times. Bull flags will angle to the downside, and that's perfectly normal. So you see them pulling away from that point where we draw the neckline across here. The bull flag will pull back and will be a downward sloping rectangle, and then we'll break to the upside. So a lot of times we draw this across here, a straight line across here, and we feel like, oh no, it's moving the opposite direction. That's okay. It's cooling off, and you'll get that big spike potentially higher at that point. These cup and handles are definitely reversal patterns. They reverse the trend. So you start to keep an eye on this cup shape. When you start to see this bowl shape, you know, it's potentially okay to start buying in here. It's more risky. If Bitcoin was performing better, like when this bull market starts, if Bitcoin just acts a little bit better, which there'll be a point when in this consolidation period we have to go through for the next, 6 or 8 months or whatever it is, where Bitcoin's going to basically have these huge long sideways movements. And so what will happen is these cup and handles will play out better, and we'll have a really good alt run at that point. And that could be coming, in the next month or two. Hopefully it does. So again, you can at that point buy. You can take a little bit more risk, put your stop down here, take a little bit more risk, but then you can leave it and let it play out, and you'll see a lot more gains. So when I start to draw these cups, or you start to see these bull patterns starting to form, and I'll say watching this pattern or watching this chart, typically this is what I'm looking at. And again, like I said, it's acceptable to open up a position earlier. It's just risky. You got to keep your stop in place. Versus when you actually are buying the breakout, you're buying the move higher. These are the safe. When you're buying the breakout is the safest way to play these moves. Ascending triangles. So you've got a horizontal line on the top, and then your ascending line is on the bottom. Okay, typically the triangle usually appears during an upward trend and regarded as a continuation pattern. It's a bullish pattern, breaks out to the upside. Sometimes it can be created as a reversal pattern where your trend's coming down here, it forms, but that's not very often. These break out to the upside about 70% of the time. Ascending triangles are always bullish patterns wherever you see them. Triple bottom will reverse a downtrend. This is a very important reversal pattern. You'll see points where it's basically going to go down and get one bottom. Two bottoms is a double bottom, which is still a reversal pattern. A triple bottom, again, is just the continuation of the reversal. And then a move higher, like the cup and handles, you're buying this neckline. When you get a breakout above here, to figure out the target, it's the distance from here to here. Basically, you're just going to take this distance, put it up here. It's important to note when we talk about taking profits that this first target that we take from here and we put here, that's your first target. That's just a lot of times, because this is a trend reversal, these will continue to move higher. So your first point of taking some profits really is this distance right here. After that, we can continue higher, but you've got to mark your resistance lines and know that other people are going to take major resistance lines. Say on the daily chart, you mark some resistance lines. Descending triangle. So you've got this downward price action. You've got a horizontal line down here for the triangle, and then a descending line on the top. So these are bearish patterns. They're usually continuation patterns. So what does that mean? It's a continuation of this downtrend. So downtrend, the RSI is going to cool off because it's going to fall to 20 or 30. And then this is going to let RSI is going to cool off back to around 40 or 50, and then it will continue lower. To figure out the targets of these triangles, all triangles, you're going to take this open end and you're going to place it started at this side of the triangle. This is for a downtrend. Again, symmetrical triangle goes both ways. This can too, but you've got a 70% chance of a break lower. Inverse head and shoulders. So you've got potentially a small triangle here, a larger triangle here, and another small right shoulder as a triangle. These play out like the cup and handles where you have the neckline and then you're buying the breakout, okay? And then to figure out the target, you take the target from the neckline to the head, the highest or the lowest distance in the head. These are reversal patterns as well. They reverse the trend. So again, you're buying here. The target you pull here is going to go here, and then you're going to potentially take profits when you get to that target, and it should over time continue higher. So if you're limited on time, these are good setups along with double bottoms, cup and handles, because they have a good chance of continuing in the direction of the breakout. Bullish symmetrical triangle. So with these, a symmetrical triangle, it's bullish because you've got an uptrend, and then so your RSI gets overbought. So that means it goes up to 70 or 80. Then you'll move sideways inside the triangles. The RSI is going to cool off, and you'll get a break to the upside. Technically, it's a 54% chance of a break to the upside, but the percentages are skewed higher in the bull's favor because you're basically, this is a bullish continuation pattern. So you've got a bullish trend or an uptrend. So the chance of continuation is a lot higher than the 54%. But it really depends on, remember, a lot of these bullish setups right now, they're not playing out as well as they will in a month or two. Like this market is going to get, and in 7 months, in 8 months, in 10 months, these are going to get so easy. In the bull market, when the market is bullish, they all play out. It gets ridiculously easy. So I see a lot of people in the group that are frustrated, like sometimes these patterns are stalling. That's not going to happen in the future. That's why I encourage everybody to learn, watch all these videos now while you have plenty of time, instead of watching a lot of these chart patterns. Obviously, you want to make some money. That's one thing. However, it's probably a lot better use of your time, instead of watching charts for 5 hours where maybe you don't make the best profits, to invest 5 hours in learning more about these charts that are going to pay off huge rewards in the future. Rounding bottom. So we've talked about these. I've posted this in announcements a couple times. These are like cup and handles with no handle. Okay, so again, the distance of the breakout is factored in here. And then you place this, you basically just drag this line that you draw here. This will be your first target. You get a continued move higher because this is a bullish reversal pattern. So keep in mind you're reversing the trend, so the trend should continue to move higher up here. A flag continuation. So this is a bull flag. Okay, if it was a bear flag, it'd be going the opposite way. You would have a downtrend going into this, and it would continue downward. So this bull flag right here, you'll see typically when you get this rectangle, this rectangle should be the opposite direction of the trend. So you'll get your flag. It will basically cool off your RSI and then break out to the upside a lot of times. These flags haven't been playing out very well on Bitcoin. It's hit or miss. Again, a lot of this is going to change in the future. You're basically buying the breakout here as well. The distance or the measured move on this is the distance of the initial run up of the flag. Okay, and then you place it here, and that's where you get your first target. Double top. So these are bearish patterns. In an uptrend, it's a bearish reversal pattern. You see a coin, Engine, for example, it's up 500%. You want to figure out where the top's at. So you'll start to see these double tops, triple tops even. So you'll get 3 of these. And then to figure out the target, you're going to take the distance here, put it down here, and that'll give you your measured move to the downside. If you see this, you would obviously sell before the breakout because we're trading long positions, which means we need bullish patterns. Bearish symmetrical triangle. So this is a bearish trend, and then you've got your symmetrical triangle. These do break out to the upside. You could buy the breakout to the upside, but there's a higher percentage chance of a break to the downside. Falling wedges. Okay, so it's a symmetrical triangle, but it's angled to the downside. These are bullish patterns. They break out to the upside. To find the distance of your target, you're going to take, again, this open end. All the triangles, you're taking the open end, placing it here. You're buying the breakout. That is your first target where you take profits. A lot of times, lately, I've been talking about everybody taking profits really at that first level because we just don't know what Bitcoin's going to do. So if you have more time and you're the type of person that your time schedule fits into midterm type trades, you can take a small amount of profits at your first target and then just mark your resistance lines. And I have videos on that. Mark your resistance lines, major resistance lines. Go on your daily chart and mark your resistance, and you'll see where other people are going to take their profits, and you want to take your profits right beneath there. Head and shoulders top. So again, the engine, you might see a head and shoulders. It runs up a bunch, and you're going to see your left shoulder, it's a smaller triangle, a head, bigger triangle, right shoulder, smaller triangle, and then your breakout is a reversal. This is a trend reversal pattern. Okay, so double bottoms are bullish reversals, double tops are bearish, head and shoulders top is bearish. There's inverse head and shoulders, which is bullish. These are really important to remember, and I've got a chart that I posted that you guys need to print out and just memorize them. Look over them. In time, you'll get it. But again, to figure out the distance here, you're taking the head of the neckline, and then you're placing it down here, and that'll give you your distance of your measures moved to the downside. So this is a chart that I posted in the announcements channel. I would print it out. I would keep a folder or a 3-ring binder. You could possibly print this and tape it. Someone talked about, they were going to print out a lot of these chart setups that they're seeing just to kind of help them learn. I was thinking about changing to maybe a white background so it'd be easier to print some of these charts out. That's one thing someone talked about, so that's a pretty good idea. All the charts that I draw, you should be redrawing them. Go to Coinag.com, go to Tradingview. The way that you get good at this real quick, and what I've seen in the group in the past, in a period of 2, 3, 4 weeks, people have picked this up and ran with it because they're continually drawing these charts. So it's very important that you just keep working with these charts. Coinag.com is the one I use. You got a month trial there. You could set up another email potentially and get another month free trial. Tradingview is another one. So if you're betting against Bitcoin, then you're going to open a position going to the downside. Obviously, we are opening long positions and spot trading, so we are looking for bullish patterns here. The nice thing about being able to trade this market both ways is you have a lot more ways to make money. And as a group, we're going to get to shorting the market. So again, double bottom, and we explained that, entry and target, inverse head and shoulders, entry, target, neckline, buy the breakout, falling wedges break to the upside, entry and target. So they're all right here. This is a bear flag. They call it a bullish rectangle. Bullish pennant is a bull pennant. They again, break to the upside. It tells you where to buy, what your target should be. Bearish pennants, probably won't be trading a lot of these. Ascending triangles could technically go either way. Descending triangles, symmetrical triangles as well, and it shows you the targets in the entry. Obviously, the breaks to the downside, we're not trading those. Broadening wedges. So I had somebody on a chart that drew one of these. Well, they didn't actually see it. They're not very common, and they don't play out very well, and they're hard to trade. So I just want to run through this real quick. So there's the right angled and ascending broadening chart pattern. Possibly you don't even want to trade it. There's a lot of other patterns that perform much better. Downward breakouts have a big break, even failure rate, which may disqualify them from your trading tools. So upward breakouts only have a middling average rise, and that's even if you trade them perfectly. So if you have a flat horizontal bottom and a progression of higher highs, as you can see right here, it's called an ascending broadening wedge, but it's basically a misnomer because these are bearish patterns, and you're going to see a break. Wherever you have that horizontal line, it's potentially going to break that direction. Okay, with triangles, with these broadening wedges. Again, these are difficult to trade, but you need to know them. Now, this is an ascending broadening wedge, similar to a rising wedge, plays out the same. Okay, so just think about the rising wedges when you think about these ascending broadening wedges, or the descending would play out to the upside. So here you can see you've got this broadening wedge. It's kind of a backwards triangle, if you will. So the interesting thing to know here, and this book is actually, the PDF of this book is, you can search it in the announcements. Thomas Bulkowski's Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns. You can download the PDF, keep it on a tablet, keep it on your computer, somewhere that's easy to use. Most of these books, you can get them on eBay used for less than $5, a lot of them. So this one might be a little bit more because it's about 1,000 pages. Important thing to know is this is with these ascending, broadening wedge formation. There's a 76% chance that the formation will break out downward. Therefore, it pays to wait for a confirmed breakout. So again, you've got your ascending, broadening wedge, and we broke out to the downside. Now, let's relate this to what we're dealing with today in Bitcoin. Check this out. So a lot of people don't really talk about this pattern. I've been watching it for a while. You've got to have 3 touches for confirmation of a pattern. We only have 2 on the upside. It would be nice to see a move up here to the 4,800 range. I don't know if we're going to get it. Side note is we do have a bit of a bull flag playing out here, and I posted this in announcements. We might see a move up to around 4,150 out of Bitcoin, which definitely would help a lot of these patterns as far as kickstarting them. But keep in mind, you've got to be careful. If there's times to think about using Tether, USDT, this is going to be one of them coming up. It might be another week or 2 or 3. We just don't know exactly how long it's going to be. As soon as I get more of an indication that we could move lower, but as of now, we've got to leave our opinions out of it, and we got to do what the chart is telling us. So the chart's saying bull flag. However, the macro picture is this giant broadening wedge, just like we talked about, broadening wedge, 76% chance of a break lower. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, we do have 2 touches. However, I do feel like a break down to around 3650 is probably going to happen. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much.